Hey guys, I kind of want to talk about something today that's kind of out of the ordinary. A lot of times people don't really talk about it. I want to kind of talk about my basic training slash AIT slash duty station experiences. I'm going to divide into three parts. Okay, I had this idea that since other people don't really talk about it as much, well, maybe a lot of people do, I don't know, then I might as well do it as well. Um, So before you're even before you start thinking about joining, you need to have your reasons. And you need to look into it a lot. Cause say you're picking your job with your recruiter. Your recruiter is gonna explain what the job is. They're gonna say, "Oh, it's this and that," and then you turn out it's not like what you thought it was. Then you're in the wrong field. But anyways, I'm gonna divide this into three parts: basic training, AIT, then duty station. Now, duty stations can vary where you are. It doesn't really vary. Basic's pretty much all the same from what I've heard, except I think infantry does a little bit longer, and then AIT depends on your job. So let's start with basic training first. First off, I just gotta say something right off the bat. When I signed up for the military, my job, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what, because I'm an 89 Bravo, which is an ammunition specialist. You don't really do your jobs per se, except maybe once or twice every couple weeks or something like that, if that, or maybe once a month or something. I don't know. We got something called LTT, but anyways, we'll do that later in the videos as the videos go along. So basic training is it's kind of like your tip. It's kind of like your it's pretty much the pre-stages of your military career. Matter of fact, I think, yeah, it is. Basic training is pretty much where you're just taught the basic training. Get it? And then you're taught customs and courtesies. You're taught the soldier's creed, the general orders, all that kind of stuff. Basic training is also divided into three different, well, technically four. When we count this, it's red phase, white phase, blue phase, and then graduation. And then if you want to go into five, the pre part, it's reception. Reception, we'll start with that one. Reception is when you go, it's pretty much you're doing a bunch of paperwork, setting up your pay, you're setting up pretty much your lifetime experience with the military, you're setting up your life. Now, this stuff gets all done matter of fact, when you first get to reception, you're not going to get no sleep first night. I got no sleep. Well, some people do. I didn't. So, and then pretty much the second night, or second day, that's when you actually start getting your stuff, and you keep going till you'll be there about 5 to 7 days roughly, maybe even less, depending. I was there for about 5, that was a decent time. So, when you actually get done doing all the paperwork and your uniforms and stuff like that, you start learning how to march and stuff like that. Then you're gonna be in uniform last day, and then you get picked up by buses. Those buses are gonna be out there with all the drill sergeants that you're probably gonna meet. And then when you get on those buses, they're gonna tell you to put your head down on the bag, and that's when you know when it's about to start. It's gonna start, and when the bus stopped, before the bus even stopped, I kept looking out the window, seeing if we were about to get there. And when the bus stopped, I looked. I was like, "Here we go." Drill sergeant said, "Kid, you got 30 seconds to get off my bus." He kind of used a little bit of profanity, but I'm not going to do that. And he was like, "You got 30 seconds to get off my bus," and we just all start running. They're all screaming. And that's pretty much, the first day basics, a lot of screaming, and you're gonna be learning a lot of stuff. You get one phone call, and then you put your phones up and stuff like that. We didn't get our phones very much at all. Probably like once every 3 weeks, something like that. Maybe twice if we were lucky. But red phase was probably the hardest phase because you're constantly getting smoked. You're constantly doing the little petty stuff that you probably wouldn't do if you were, say, at your duty station or something like that. Basic is just petty in general. I know that sounds kind of not the right term to use, but it's petty. It's supposed to be. It teaches you discipline, self-respect, and just learning about the fundamentals of being a soldier. And most of them are going to be E6 or higher that you're going to be dealing with. So E6 is staff sergeant, and then you got, you just look it up. You'll find the ranks out. And that's what got me too, was ranks. I almost didn't graduate because I couldn't remember my ranks. Oh well. So red phase, you pretty much are taught. You get your rifle. Matter of fact, when you get your rifle, you pretty much have that rifle throughout basic, and then you give it back towards graduation. Go figure, right? And then you're gonna do like something called a pre-qual, and then what we did towards the end of red phase, if we want to go into white phase, we had to qualify. We qualified towards the very last day of red phase, and our company did exceptionally well, apparently. Go figure. And we phased up to white phase. White phase is what everybody makes it sound like. It's a lot of marksmanship. It's a lot of, you get more privileges, just a little bit, not too much. And it starts settling down a little bit, but they're still gonna yell at you regardless if you do something stupid or something like that. This is when you actually start to qualify with the 249 and 240. So 249 is the machine gun, the 240 is the actual grenade launcher. Both of them are very fun to use. Now, I think if you're infantry, I believe you get to do more. You get to actually go on a gun turret, I believe. I'm not 100%, but I've seen that. But I was in Fort Jackson, so I didn't really get to do that. Anyway, so once you get done with white phase, I can't remember exactly what we did towards the end of white phase to get to blue phase. Oh, we did a test. Yeah, there we go. When you get to blue phase is like towards like the end, almost the end of basic training. That's when you know, hey, we're hitting the road. Oh yeah, you do FTX, which is the field, and then you do FTX and red phase, which is only, I think, 2 nights and 1 day. White phase is 2 days and 3 nights, and then blue phase, it's 3 days, 4 nights. I believe I could be wrong, but anyways, I can't go on to that other BS, but it's pretty much, you do field, a lot of marksmanship. You'll do a ruck march. You'll do 3 separate ruck marches, red phase, depending. Blue phase is probably the easiest phase you'll get in, unless you were in my platoon. We got smoked almost every single day. Still, but it was twice as hard. Our drill sergeant thought it was supposed to get harder, so he made it harder, and it taught me a lot. Life doesn't get easier; it'll get harder, so you gotta deal with it. I thought that was kind of a cool experience to actually get to see that. Towards the end of blue phase, you'll do a blue phase test, which I almost failed, and you'll switch over to the beret, the actual graduation beret, stuff like that. And then what we did, our last ruck march was like 12 to 15 miles, I think, and that was actually not too bad. But I ran water like 5 miles in, so it was kind of terrible. I know you can refill it up, but I kept forgetting. But we were exhausted, and I went from being 204 pounds getting in to about 185 towards the end of basic. And then you'll do PT test, red phase. I think you do 4 PT tests and on one that predetermines. Then you do an actual PT test, you do another one white phase, and then you do another one blue phase. So once you pass those, then you should be fine. After that was done, then you get to graduation phase, which isn't really a phase, just a graduation week. Those are your last 4 days, 5 days, whatever. And family day is the second to last day. You spend time with your family, which is very well needed. I mean, yeah. And then your last day is graduation. And then, yeah, you still go in for one more day, but you leave that next day to go to AIT. So, overall basic for me, it wasn't what I was expecting. There were a lot of nights where I wish I would have quit, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. But looking at back now, I'm not so sure. So next video we'll go into more AIT. Basic for me personally, like I said, wasn't what I expected. It was kind of easy at times and it was hard. So, but other than that, we'll move on to the next video. Y'all take care.